Good evening, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown in colder and colder Shenzhen, China, just south of the Tropic of Cancer. How y'all doing tonight? Let me take a sip of my what they call cooked pu'er tea. We learned so much. We went to Xishuangbanna over the October National Day, so it's a full 9-day holiday. And we drove to Pu'er, up in the famous Pu'er tea area, and visited an organic tea plantation. It was so spectacularly beautiful. It was just unbelievable. And we also learned a lot about tea. We learned that there's two different kinds. There's the uncooked, which is basically air dried, and then there's the cooked, where they ferment the tea just like champagne or beer or wine or cheese. They actually have their own concoction of mold and bacteria, and each tea plantation has their own special secret recipe of microbes that they use to ferment the tea, which they call cooked tea. And tonight I'm actually drinking the cooked tea from Pu'er, from that organic tea plantation, because the fermentation process wipes out most of the caffeine, or the tea equivalent of caffeine called theophylline, and so you're not buzzing all night. Whereas with the raw uncooked pu'er, so it's just almost like legal speed, which is why we only drink it in the morning. And anyway, it was really fascinating. We learned about tall growth, short growth, the different kinds of leaf, base leaves, the 3 tip leaves. We learned about, how old they were, the plants were, and how they were planted right after 1949, liberation in 1949, and people from around Asia actually came and helped plant. This was a state-owned, many of these are state-owned, government-owned tea plantations. Anyway, it was real. We learned so much, and so I'm kind of getting into tea and enjoying the, kind of like, instead of drinking, becoming a wine connoisseur, becoming a bit of a tea connoisseur, and so I'm drinking my cooked pu'er. I wish you all could see it. It's almost the color. Yeah, you can see it. It's almost the color of coffee. It's really dark because of the fermentation. Alrighty, today's podcast is very short because I'm going to let a 25-minute video, do all the talking for me. It is called China Tech is Unstoppable, From Noodle Shops to Outer Space. I'm going to have to, for our home-cooked Cantonese dinner, we use a lot of hot pepper. And hot pepper and podcasts don't go well together because the hot pepper really makes your voice scratchy and makes you want to kind of cough, which is, I guess, why people drink beer with hot peppers. So I'm drinking tea instead, but so my voice is a little scratchy from all the hot peppers I just ate for dinner. All right, there's a picture and of course, get to the source, but there's a picture of my stand where I sold my books at a charity bazaar, and then there's a picture of a transaction, a pretty typical transaction, mobile phone transaction that takes place now probably billions of times a day, it seems like, here in China. Above on the left is my charity fair stand in Shenzhen to sell the China trilogy and my English language learning book, Dr. Right Read. There are always several of these bazaars for vendors to get together and help raise money for a good cause. It was a fun day, and I always get to meet many interesting people, both Chinese and otherwise. Pictured on the right is my next door neighbor's stand getting her money via mobile telephone payment. I also accepted Alipay, WeChat, and cash. More and more people are leaving the house in China with no cash on hand. The level of trust in the banks here is very high since they are all owned by the people. There are no private banks in China. WeChat, Alipay, and the banks take no fees for mobile payments less than 200 yuan, about $25. This is why people can mobile pay 25 US cents, the equivalent of, to rent a bike for an hour, or 75 US cents, the equivalent of, for a snack out of a vending machine and not get ripped off by transaction fees. That would never happen in the West because the banks there are capitalist and rapacious, but I repeat myself. I suspect this is why Apple Pay has not gotten off the ground here after much fanfare, but it has gone absolutely nowhere. A Western bank could not imagine providing a free service tens of millions of times a day and not picking the customer's pockets. And that was actually a very long byline for the photo montage I created. And then the short podcast is, as a follow-up to my article and podcast about China's high-tech revolution being fueled by its communist, socialist, political, economic system, today I'm going to present the view of what it looks like in everyday life, on the streets and in the shops. This excellent video below is a perfect show and tell. It is really hard to explain what mobile phone life is like here in China, and this presentation does it in spades. I'm so inured to it on a daily basis that I hardly even notice. It is almost 25 minutes long, the video, and well worth the watch from start to finish. There is some cutting edge China mobile tech I'm familiar with, but still don't use much, such as live streaming. After seeing it, I thought back to my visit to the United States this last summer and what a shock it was compared to high-flying China. Going back to America felt like getting out of a time machine stuck in the 20th century. This video reinforces that perception. And that's it. Enjoy. Have a great evening. And this is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out from Shenzhen. Read the trilogy. Understand your world and where you are going in the 21st century. Take care.